What's up, Craig?
Craig!
What's up?
Everyone. Homie, hey, whoa, hey, what's up? My boy, Craig, coming in here, recording the audio, and then emailing it to me. Thanks, Craig. You're the best.
I'll shoot you an email with some audio.
Actually, he doesn't even have to shoot me the email. He sends me a Discord direct message. What a guy.
Oh, slipping into my DMs.
He's slipping into my DMs.
Sneaking in there. Chicka.
He's like, oh, what's up? Got this recording for you, boss. Anyways, what's up, guys?
Hello.
How you doing?
How you doing?
It is me. I am here.
Yes. Joe, you're here too. Everyone's here. The original cast. No extra members. Rules, Jewels, D&D Schools episode. What is this? We're up to episode 19. We're not too far away from, another nice even number.
Yeah.
We're exactly one away from 20 to be exact.
Can you believe it?
Let me tell you the date, so in case don't want to do that. No timestamps. What are we talking about today? This is your topic, Isaac. Throw down.
I threw out. I was like, "What about this?" And you're like, "Yes, we'll do that."
And now it's become yours.
You want to know what? You want to know why I agreed to this topic right away?
Yes,
because I put something in the Discord like a week and a half ago, and no one said anything. And I was like, I'll just post up the PDF just in case. And I did, and then no one. You finally responded to it like a day before we record. And I'm like, well, we're not doing that topic. I'm not reading that whole book like tonight. So
I saw that message and I know what I did. Like I saw it pop up and just closed it out. And I was like, okay, I'll talk to him and be like, okay, sure. And then I didn't.
It just didn't.
I saw it and I was like, oh, I have thoughts on that. And then I got busy doing making food for
doing other stuff. Yeah.
And then I completely forgot about it.
I totally understand. But this was a perfect topic because this is an opinion topic, not a research.
You gotta read nothing.
That's right. I don't have to read nothing.
Oh, man.
My favorite topic when I don't have to do any research whatsoever and I just show up and flap my gums for an hour. And I can do that no problem. Get out of here, guys. So we're going to do, I'll explain your topic, which is one-shots versus mid-length campaigns or short campaigns versus long boy campaigns, extra long, extra thick campaigns.
Where did that come from?
Just the way I like it.
Just the way I like it.
What I wrote.
I think it was. Let me go back and check the logs. Extra long, extra thick. Anyways,
anyone who's ever met me can attest that is not what I wrote.
Well, the best thing about this podcast is that it's not for kids, and I can say whatever the fuck I want, baby.
Well, Joe almost said something.
Joe bleeped his mic cut out right on the explicit part.
Yep,
on cue. That was excellent.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't need to be family friendly. Third time's a charm. So, what do we want to say? What do you want to start small and work up to that girthy boy, or you want to start girth and go back down to the teeny boy?
Start at the word fuck if we're going. No,
we can start small, I think.
Yeah.
What is it that you like or dislike about one shots?
Joe, I think Joe has the strongest opinions on one shots. Okay. So let's hear his opinion.
Okay.
I say that because
I don't mind one shots.
Okay.
If I know a week or two out.
You don't like the last minute.
I don't like the last couple of times we've done one shots. It's been like, all right, I'm ready to play. I'm in all day. I'm talking in Western accent. Like I'm going through the motions, getting ready to play that night, and then we're gonna do a one shot, and I'm like, I have to switch it all up. And I'm like,
turn all that
fuck. Just like I'm seriously like that's why usually whenever we do one shots, my character's always an idiot. Because I'm like I could just play something dumb and I don't care.
I don't have to worry about it once
and I can have fun with that. But yeah, it's hard for me to get into it just because I know like I have no attachment to the character.
I understand that.
Normally at the end of the one shot, we die.
And also usually, like, unless it's explicitly written to be a one shot, like when we do things like we're just trying a new system in like a one shot format, I'm totally okay with that. But usually by the end of it, it's like, oh, let's speed this up because we're not getting where I want to get, because it wasn't really like you just had a vague idea of what you were going to do. One shots need to be very deliberate. I feel like they need to have a gimmick, and they need to be able to be played to completion, start to finish, in like 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of one shots. They're fine. I feel like I'm with Joe in the fact that it's like I can't get attached to I can't care about the character that I'm playing. So that makes it a little less fun for me.
That doesn't bother me because I take one shots as the opportunity to just be crazy. I'm going to run out there and I'm going to do some crazy shit.
That's
because I wouldn't do that.
Big dumb idiot every time.
I wouldn't do that with my normal character. I'm not going to like risk my life to, risk it for the biscuit with my normal character. But in a one shot I can do that. And some one shots are perfectly tailored to be one shots. 5 Candles or whatever, the Halloween one that we usually play, that's tailored to be a one shot. The rules are tailored for one shot. It's an excellent one shot. If you're looking to want to run a one shot, that's a good one shot. The one where you're a skeleton and your bones can fall off and you can replace it with random crap, that's a good concept for a one shot. Like,
yeah, I do feel like a lot of the better one shots and more popular ones have their own complete set of rules.
Yeah, they're not just like 5e. That being said, I ran that goblin one that was pretty fun, where you're trying to escape with the treasure.
I did enjoy,
but it had a gimmick. It had a gimmick.
The gimmick was the zoom all the way in.
Yeah. So there was a gimmick. Cool. It wasn't just normal D&D. It used the rules, but it wasn't really just normal D&D. So I feel like the selling point, the thing that gets me good for a one shot is just a good gimmick, just a good single mechanic that the whole thing is revolving around. And that's interesting and fun, and because you're not really meant to get into the characters, and nobody wants a character with 10 years. Like, it's like when we did that Traveler one shot. It's like, okay, my character has 30 years of backstory, and now I have to play this character for an hour and a half. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. What about DMing one shots? I feel like a lot of people are like think that, oh, well, I'm going to try DMing for the first time, so let's just do a one-shot. One-shots can be harder to DM than a regular campaign because you have to know what encompasses the whole thing, and you have to keep it on rails.
I will say though, like, for the most part, since it's so simple and like not a lot's going to happen, it's pretty easy. What do you think, Joe? You've done a couple of one-shots,
2.
Right? You run 2, okay.
Yeah, and the first one I ran, I thought I did pretty well, but also I was playing with people that don't play, and Eric. And Eric will always hype me up. But everybody else seemed to have a really good time. So like I feel like I did pretty well in the
new players help a lot. They're good. Yeah.
They were like, "Oh my god, you described something." And I'm sure it was completely like plain, not really interesting, but I was like, "That stick is brown," and they were like,
"Oh, I can see it in my mind's eye."
It's amazing.
It's like I can reach out and touch.
Like I did a voice, and they were like dying, and I was like, "Yes,
right. Nailed that."
So
nailed that.
But whenever on the reverse of that, whenever I ran that All Out of Gum one shot.
That's the one I wasn't there for.
I felt, oh man, that sucked. I felt like it was terrible. I was like, Jesus. I feel like I'm talking a lot. I was like not giving the players enough options or something. I don't know.
It was fine. I was there for that one. That was good.
Yeah. And I remember you telling me that, Joe, and I like got everyone apart separately, and I was like, "How's that one shot Joe ran?" And they were like, "It was great, it was awesome." And then I like relayed everything back to him. I was like, "It was great, everyone loved it." Dude.
I was like, "Whew."
It is hard to get a gauge. I think like I've been out of practice DMing for a long time, other than that one shot I've run, and it is anxiety inducing. But that's the case with any campaign. I don't think that's just a one-shot thing.
I also think if I were to like run something, it would need to be like a long campaign because I would invest into that so much. And
I could see that.
I'd get into the world a lot more, I think, because the amount of time I would put into it.
And for me personally, I think one shots just suit me well anyways. I'm a guy who likes to improvise. I'm a guy who likes to just show up and wing it. So a one shot's perfect. I know the rules. Everything else is just like I'm making it up on the spot, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's why you don't like one shots, Isaac. Yeah. You want everything to be planned, and I'm like, here's the end goal.
I agree with Isaac on that. Like, I feel like that would be way. I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but it would in my brain, the way my brain would work, that would be easy.
I feel like if I have a strong beginning, middle, and end, the rest is just chaff. The players will fill it in. I can fill it in. It's just total bullcrap up in the air. I'm so aware now, and I'm sure I'll run into this when I start run that other campaign. But I feel like I'm aware enough to know that the players have no fucking idea what I have planned. So it could be anything or nothing, and they're gonna think it's great. As long as you're just giving them something to do. But this isn't an episode about DMing, is it?
Well, we touch on.
I mean, it kind of is. It kind of is.
Yeah. So, what about short campaigns?
I'm going to call this the mid-length campaign, the 6 session, the 5-6 session, right. the starter set campaign, a campaign that can be done in like a few sessions. Whew. Okay, I'm about to be running one of these short campaigns.
Yeah, let's see what your thoughts are on.
I think I'm struggling with this more than one shots or long campaigns.
Really?
Yeah, because like a long campaign, you have so much time to figure out what's going to happen, right? You can just kind of let the characters meander. But if in a 5-session thing, you're trying to complete an entire story, if the players fuck off for a whole episode trying to unlock one door or something, and you don't just step in and be like, yep, you're not going to get that door. There's that video I sent you.
This is going to be 7 episodes.
Yep. Let's go on another episode because they literally did nothing this episode. I was like, here's a super simple task. Jimbo wants you to go down to his basement and kill the rats, but there's one big rat. And the players are like, one big rat? Is it a mutant rat? Is it a mega rat? I don't want to go in that basement. Fuck you. No, fuck you. We're going in there. And then just like nothing happens. And the end of the episode is them finally being like, I guess we have to go kill the rats. And they go down there and you're like, okay, great. I just wasted 4 hours. Fantastic. That was an excellent session.
I feel like that's a little bit on your players. Like they're especially for one shots and shorter campaigns. I feel like that the level of metagaming has to go up a notch because everyone knows this thing's on a timer. So don't waffle around about the things that you're obviously supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like you can have short conversations about it, but don't spend 30 minutes on whether you're going to do it.
In a short campaign, spending some time talking about what you're going to do, absolutely perfect. We got time for that. But like, if I give you a door and you have done 15 rolls to see if you can get past it, okay, that's on me too. That should be on the DM as well. And I sent you that video a while back, and I wanted to talk about it on an episode, which was like, at some point as the DM, you just need to be like, hey guys, that's it. You make 3 rolls. You're just you know now. You're not making it through. If the players continue to like dwell on it, you have to be like, it's time to move on. You have to just like get people to move on, which I used to be really bad about. I'll let you stand there and solve this puzzle all night. Good luck. Hardest puzzle ever.
Well, I don't know. I haven't played many, but what about theoretically playing short campaigns? What's the
playing them is fine. Playing them is fine. Playing them is no different than playing a long one.
Campaign, maybe up to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
I think it would be a lot of fun to do like a high level.
I want to do that
3
too.
To 5 episode.
There was actually not a one shot. I think it was a one shot, but I could extend it. There was one on DM's Guild or Drive Through RPG, the 2 places you go to find. DM's Guild's actually sanctioned by Wizards. So you know that? I didn't know that until very recently. Anyways, there was a campaign. I cannot exactly remember the title, but I could probably find it again. And it was just, you had 6 or 7 pre-made characters. They were all max level and you were going to like kill God. That's what the mission was. And it was supposed to be like this uber epic campaign that just happened in a really short span of time. That sounds like a blast because the characters are already done. You know, or if somebody wants to make a character, obviously they can. But for the sake of ease, you go. You want a level 20 wizard, you want a level 20 fighter, you hand it to them, you fight and you do tons of damage and it's a blast because that high level play is so rare. I could do that. A short high level campaign would be good.
Okay. What do you have? So you're getting ready to DM one. Do you have an idea for the whole plot yet?
I've got I do have a couple of ideas about what the plot's going to be. It's such a departure setting wise from what I've ever done because I'm doing cyberpunk instead of D&D. You know, fantasy stuff. I have so much experience with fantasy stuff. It's like, oh yeah, there's a dragon. Oh yeah, there's some zombies. Oh yeah, there's some fantasy stuff happening. Magic's happening. But this is such like I wouldn't say based in reality. Obviously, it's not. It's like futuristic. It's cyberpunk. There has to be like a compelling reason for your characters to want to risk their life because the characters in this campaign aren't magical and still can be stabbed to death no matter how good they are or how experienced they are. Like one stab and you're done kind of thing, you know? So the story has to be compelling enough. The characters have to have a good reason. So I might, when we're doing the character creation episode, I might have to ask people for like, why is your character on this crew that risked their life for money, which is all they're doing it for. Because without that, I feel like this campaign is not going to work. You know,
you can also like give the characters a rough reason why they're doing it and ask them to build that into their character.
Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah, I've been tossing up ways I'm going to do it. I think tomorrow is the day I'm going to get the book and like try to build my own character and everything and make sure everything works and everything. But yeah, the short campaign is stressing me out more than a long one is because it has to be more than a one shot. So I can't just show up and wing the fuck out of the whole thing. There has to be like some pieces in place, but not so many pieces that it gets too deep that everyone gets caught up and the campaign it has to run over or whatever the case may be. I don't want it to be like, you know, this thing goes for 5 sessions and we get done with 5 sessions. We're only halfway through the story. Yeah. So this is it's a completely new thing for me. And I'm kind of freaked out about it, but yeah, it'll be fine.
That is, sort of along the same lines of the one shot, but kind of like you're saying, it's a little bit more demanding, just because you have story notes that you have to hit within the certain time frames.
You got these beats. You have to hit these beats.
Know that they have to be on some sort of rails.
Yeah,
so that you can hit the certain beats and not just go off and because this is what I have planned. If we go off of this, it's no longer what it was.
What I've been considering, and you guys can know that this isn't going to spoil anything. What I've been considering is whatever mission I end up giving you guys, whatever the ultimate goal is. Like you guys are going to be basically like street thugs or like advanced street thugs who are working for, you know, just random people, corporations, whatever, right? Cyberpunk stuff. But it's going to be like, you have a time limit to finish this. And there is a hard time limit. And if you don't finish it in that time limit, they're going to know and they're going to come to kill you kind of thing. Okay. Like you have to get in and out. You have to capture a person. You have to
maybe they're hacking our systems.
Yeah, or you have to hack someone before they hack you, and it's like a back and forth.
If we don't hack them, they'll hack us back.
That's right, double hack. They're gonna encrypt all your files in your brain. There's some weird
in my brain.
Not in my brain. There's some weird stuff in Cyberpunk, and like since I'm not as versed in the world and how everything should work, I mean, my experience with Cyberpunk is like an hour and a half at the game, 2077, and like the anime, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which I'm sure I will lean on heavily story-wise to like pick out what I want you guys to be doing in a way. Okay. Not exactly the same story, but like in the vein of that so that I have a structure. Yeah, because it's the only Cyberpunk experience I have.
Yeah. Every time I should watch Cyberpunk, I think of like Altered Carbon.
That's not. Yeah, I wouldn't call that Cyberpunk. They have the implant.
Well, they have like full body stuff.
No, just the one guy, right?
No,
I don't know. That could be cyberpunk-ish. Maybe one of you guys will go Cyber Psycho. That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, what about you, Joe? Do you have feelings about short length campaigns?
I feel like the low level ones I've played in were a lot of fun, especially for new players. Really kind of gets the feel for it. Find out if you really like what you're playing.
Those starter set
Maybe play a
campaign.
couple of them and test out what kind of characters, and then jump into a full campaign. But I like them. I loved the shorter ones starting out. Like I played in a super long one starting out, and then I played a couple short ones, and those short ones felt so much easier to digest.
Not as many moving parts.
It helped me learn the rules a lot more because I got to play different characters a lot sooner.
Yeah, that is a benefit because, like, yeah, for new players, that's definitely a benefit. Getting a general understanding of all the rules instead of just like,
here you go.
Yeah, here you go.
We're going.
There's this epic threat going on.
Honestly, I haven't played in one since being a new player, so I'm kind of excited to see what it's like as a veteran player now.
Get that pressure.
Yeah, I'm also working on one because we don't know how long Brian's going to be out for sure. So if we get to the end of yours, Eric, I want to have something else to go.
Yeah.
So I'm working on one that would be a short campaign as well.
I feel like with what I'm doing, I'd have a pretty easy time. Like if you guys succeed, to like continue if we had to.
Okay.
Because it's that kind of setting where the missions you're getting are kind of like you're getting stuff constantly because you have contacts in the world. You guys you're obviously not starting from zero. So because it's just because of the setting, because of the shorter setting that I have to do. So you're going to be like an established crew and all this stuff. So shouldn't be any issue.
The sort of route that I took to write the plot for the one that I'm working on it's in the same world that we're playing in currently.
Mm-hmm.
It would sort of tie in some lore to what you guys already know. So I thought that might be fun.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be
cool.
All right, let's go. Let's just move on to long ones.
Okay.
Because I think this is the one that's going to take the longest. Hey. I'm going to roll today, guys. The girthy boy. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
So, extra long campaigns.
Okay.
I think they're great in every way. I think that like it's the best way to be invested in a character. It's the best for a DM because you can just kind of meander. Not forever. You can't dick around forever. You have to like be like, hey guys, here's the thing we gotta do. At least like nudge them towards it. Here's the thing. Hey, you remember that thing you were supposed to do, the big evil? You should maybe get on that a little bit. You know, you can't like Skyrim it where you spend 5 years like, you know, killing boars and then the dragon just waits for you to come and kill him. He's like, I've been doing nothing.
Those heroes gonna show up, huh?
And then they show up and they're 10 times stronger than they should be, and they one-shot the dragon, and you're like, oh. But it does allow a lot more freedom. You don't have to have everything set in place when you start. There's not a hard, fast ending, not a hard, fast anything. I think you can have like very vague blobs of story that the players can like migrate through at will, and like it can still come together as an awesome cohesive thing because the freedom of the amount of time you have allows you to just meander, and every now and then you just give them a little bump in the right direction, right?
Yeah,
and that can also like really make it feel like even if it is on rails, you can make it feel like it's not by letting them like come on and off the rails as often as they want. And then occasionally just be like, time to go to the next station, boys. And you move them to the next place for whatever reason. You come up with a reason for them to compel their characters to do it. But as long as there's like an overarching story that you're all working towards, nothing in the middle matters to me.
You guys haven't even seen well, you've seen bits of the overarching one for the one that I'm running currently.
I'm ready for it though. You gotta like, Spoon feed me this story, dude.
What I decided to do this time, because last time I was pretty. I feel like I was anyway. I was pretty overt with what was the big, like, the enemy, the big bad guy. I thought maybe it was a bit of a surprise at the end, but overall it was like, oh, it's the Emperor. Of course it is.
Yeah.
But this time I decided to have just like a bunch of threads and then have the one big thread sort of hidden within those. And see, you'll eventually just get told what's going on if you don't get it.
Here's the thing. Yeah,
I wanted to see if anyone would figure it out first.
Since you're bringing this up, and we're going to talk about your campaign specifically now.
Okay.
I'm getting to the point where I want that big thread to just slap me across the face like a big girthy story thread. You know what I mean? I want to be able to grab hold of this thread and give it a yank. Because there's too many small threads all around me. In a jokey way. But truthfully, I do think like there's like a where your first campaign was good. It was totally fine. Once I got over my own dickishness at the beginning. It was like it was a railroady story, but that's okay. That's totally fine. This one is like, I know you have a plan. I know you have everything planned because that's how you are. And I'm just like, at first I was like, this is sick. Oh yeah, doing this. And then like, I'm kind of to the point now where I'm like, what is the thing we're fighting for, baby? I don't need to like pluck these things out. I just like slap me across the face with it, dude. I'd just be like, and then you go into the room and it's Jesus and Jesus is there. And like, I don't care how you tell me, but I'm like ready for this mega hook that's going to get, because for a while it felt like we had stuff going on and everything was going on. And now it has slowed down enough to where like, I'm like, I'm ready for the hook. I'm ready for this big juicy hook.
Oh no. maybe oversold.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah, the twist. If it's not a twist, it could just be straightforward, like here, and this is the bad guy, and I'd be like, all right, sick. All right, we're working towards that.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm trying this out this time. I don't want to go too far off of it because then it will ruin the experiment. But
I'm not trying. I want to emphasize this so much. It's fine. I'm enjoying it. But I am so ready myself for like.
I think the big thing is like I'm frustrated that it's not that I don't know yet.
Yeah, like, I need like a solid thing.
I'm like, which? Oh, dang it, man! What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Where is the?
I feel lost. I feel lost for sure. Every decision feels like the wrong decision.
But it's honestly, it's so like it's such a different experience.
There's like a wide gap between the first one and this one. And I think like what is it?
I love how challenging it is. Like I also get so upset at myself that I haven't figured it out.
Oh, that might cut. Oh, no, that was my headset. Think about like when you have your players doing a puzzle.
Yeah.
Hey, you have a lot of experience trying to get people to do puzzles.
I mean, I tried to get you guys to do one in the first campaign, and you just kind of.
I'm not gonna lie.
You glitched.
That was your fault.
Okay,
that was your fault. You didn't think that puzzle through. But it could be a fucking color matching puzzle. And if you have 6 people trying to solve it and roll dice and try to figure out what's going on, Gaga Goo Goo Baby could solve it if it was right in front of them. But 6 seasoned adventurers can't even like begin to grasp the thread of red to red, blue to blue because it's like not in their face. It's like it's an RPG, and maybe it's not described correctly, or maybe it's not obvious enough. And like I've tried puzzle. I even tried a pre-written puzzle in like a one-shot thing that I did. And I just had to be.
It took the whole session.
We
were like, what is? And he was like, just twist the candelabra.
It was meant to be a thing in the campaign that was supposed to take the players like 10 minutes. And it took the whole time. So I think that like I watched that Sly Flourish video about being direct, and I have taken that to heart so hard since then. Like, I'm running this campaign soon. I'm not gonna fuck around. If you guys aren't getting something, I'm just gonna tell you what it is. I'm just gonna like come up with a reason to tell you. Because one, we don't have time to get stuck. And two, if you let your players be stuck for too long, it starts to be extraordinarily frustrating. I think most of the time just ending 10 minutes early, that's good. That's good for me.
Not good for anyone else.
I'll say this.
In fact, most of us wouldn't mind playing a little further. That's what we needed.
Guess what you guys are gonna get used to in my campaign, ending about 10 minutes early. Because I would rather end the campaign on a spot that's compelling for the next episode to start than to have you guys go 10 minutes into something that doesn't fucking mean anything. That's me personally, and apparently I'm the only one who feels that way. But if I feel like I'm at a good stopping point, I would rather just stop there than even play another half hour. If I think that the next this is becoming a DM episode again. If I'm telling a story, or if I'm part of a story, like think about it, you're watching TV. If you were watching a really awesome, compelling show, and they get to a part and you're like, oh my God, what a twist. That's the end. Oh my God. In your head, like the next thing that's coming is fade to black credits, because that's the end of the episode, motherfucker. And if they went on for another 5 minutes to do nothing, and then you start the next episode in a weird spot when it could have started at the most epic spot ever, what was the point? What's the point of playing that extra 5 minutes? To jerk off into the air? It's nothing.
I mean, the point is essentially because this is the time frame that all the players have carved out of their lives to play this game.
No.
And they want to get as much out of it as they can.
No. Get fucked. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. That can be cut off for the sake of good story. That can be cut off for the sake of a good starting point. I feel like no problem whatsoever. If in my campaign, if we get to a point where I feel like next episode could start right here and that'd be sick. If there's an hour left and I think the next part's going to take 2 hours, I'm stopping it because I want it to be a good start and stop. I don't want to have a bunch of faff and bullshit that happens for no reason whatsoever that didn't progress the story. It didn't help the story. All it did was waste an extra 20 or 30 minutes of everyone's time.
Early. You could get to the next big thing in that amount of time.
Maybe in an hour. 30 minutes, I feel like, though. Easily, I can
in 30 minutes, I could easily get to the next big thing.
No, you couldn't. I feel like a lot of the time
10 minutes is already pushing it.
This isn't against anyone in particular. It's not against you, it's not against Michael, it's not against anyone. I've had this experience in every D&D campaign I've ever played in my life. And that is like, wow, that'd be an awesome place to stop for the night. And then we just go on, and what do? We don't accomplish anything because the next task is going to take more than half an hour. It's going to take more than 20 minutes. It's going to take more than 45 minutes. And what we end up at is a weird middle ground quagmire of bullshit where we start the next session and it's like, okay, what were you guys doing? Oh, you were just walking through the jungle. And I would rather start at the beginning of the jungle and have a whole campaign the whole session to get through the jungle than being, oh, you guys walked 100 yards and took a nap.
That's why you play the extra 30 minutes. And then you get to the next big peak and you go, okay, now it's time to cut it off.
But if you're telling the story and you know that the next big peak is unattainable in the next 20 or 30 minutes, what would you rather do?
I would rather just keep playing. Because this isn't a game where I can just pick up and put down wherever I want. It's not even guaranteed that we play every week. I want to play as much as I can.
We do play for D&D groups. We play exceptionally consistently.
Sure, but it's still not guaranteed.
I know that. I really
enjoy playing.
I know that your experience of D&D is a group that shows up 90% of the time, but that is not even in the fucking ballpark of reality for most people who play D&D. Joe, how many campaigns have you had that started and ended early and never picked back up?
I've only played in my brother's. Which every one of my brothers except for the original one
have ended after a couple of sessions.
Yeah, like 1 or 2.
I've had a lot of really reliable D&D groups, and I have still had campaigns, a lot of them, that start up, get about a quarter of the way through, and the group just dissolves and falls apart. I've been in a lot of those groups. And whether it's life reasons or whether it's like the story isn't compelling, or someone pisses some other player off, and then that's the end of it, like Joe shaving that guy's beard off or whatever, and it just makes the rest of the campaign fucked up, which is hilarious.
I didn't even get caught. I rolled a nat 20 to get
that's my favorite. That's my favorite D&D story. I love that story. Like, for whatever reason, the group falls apart, and for me personally, if I can make the story more compelling, by stopping on a high point, picking up on a high point, I personally find that enjoyable. Apparently no one else does, so I guess fuck it, we'll just end in the middle of nowhere every time for no reason. But me personally, as a player, as a DM, I like having a high point to end on, like a TV show, like a movie that's going to have a sequel. I want it to end on the highest note so I can pick up on a high note, or end on the lowest low.
I don't get it. As a writer, yeah, I would love to do that.
You can absolutely do that, though. You can guide people into that.
I want to keep playing, and you're like, well, we've still technically got 30 minutes, but I'm going to end here, even though I could go on. And everyone's like, but I want to keep playing. I'm like, okay, let's keep playing then.
That doesn't bother me at all. Like, I think for the yeah, whatever. The creative, like, if the DM wanted to end early and it's for a story reason, sick. I'm in it 100%. I love that shit. I love,
I'm out.
If I'm ending on the lowest, if we end on the lowest low because like something real bad happened, and poof, chop it off right there so that we can start in an awesome place. I love that shit. I love it so much. And none of my groups that I'm in now do it. The two I'm in now obviously don't do it. Everyone wants to play to the last minute, which honestly drives me up the wall sometimes. But
I will say, as far as me DMing, I also give another point to just keep going, because it allows me to get an idea of what the group is going to do next session, so I can plan for it better.
But if you end a little early, right where you planned for it to end, you basically know what's going to happen next session.
But the thing is, that gives the players a week to think about it as well, and they.
I'm going to tell you,
completely off the wall.
I'm willing to bet that most people do not think about what they're going to do next session.
Well, I do.
Past the most surface level.
I have definitely been thinking about what I'm doing.
In the fight, maybe, but like if you end on like a weird story beat and you're like, you got a week to think about it, I can tell you right now, most of the time I've thought about it the day before, and that's it.
Oh, we all know that you don't think about it at all. Everybody knows that.
It's like the key turns off and my brain just drops D&D right out, dude. And I'm like, I'm not thinking about it anymore. Other than like talking to Joe and being like, how was the D? Oh, dude, that thing was sick. Oh, that was cool. And we talk about D&D, and we talk about how the session went. We talk about maybe where we want to go and like where the story would be cool to go, and we like talk about that kind of stuff. But as far as like what I'm going to do in the next session, I don't want to think about it a week in advance, because if I think about it a week in advance without writing it down, I'm not going to remember what I thought about anyways. I need to think about it 2 hours before, or at most like a day before, and that's it.
Okay, so to sort of backtrack a little bit, what do you like or dislike about long form campaigns as opposed to one shots or short campaigns?
Well, it's what we've been saying the whole time. In a long form campaign, you can commit to the character in a way that is impossible to commit in a short form. In a short form to a degree, but especially a one shot. I cannot, even if I had a week's notice, hey, we're going to be doing this one shot and we're going to do this thing, I still am not going to be committed to that character in that way, because for me personally, again, I'm just going to put that out there, since apparently I'm the odd one out in most things D&D. It honestly, like, I have a story for the character. I kind of generally know what I want the character to do, but I'm not invested in the character. for maybe the first 4 to 5 sessions. It is a long process for me to get into a character and stick with a character. And I want my characters to be good, but it just takes me longer to get into it. And that's just how it is. It's just how I am. That's just how I work. So one shot, I'm definitely not getting into it. A short campaign, I can stretch. I can get into it a little more. Or maybe if I really commit, I can get into it in a couple of sessions instead of like 5 or 6 sessions. But like most of the time, I'm playing the character, but I'm not committed to it for a long time. A really fucking long time. How many sessions in are we on your campaign, Isaac?
Last one was 29, I think. So next one will be 30 in a couple month or two.
I probably was not invested in that character for the first 10 to 12 episodes. And that's not your fault. That's just me. That's just how it works. You know?
That's kind of the path that I took for writing this campaign, is it was going to be more sort of character focused. And so the major plot threads were sort of going to be dispersed more based on what the individual characters wanted.
So like, I hate, like, I've gotten to the point where I don't like criticizing people because I don't want to be the dickhead anymore. But like we did anymore. Listen, I've been there my whole life, dude. 30 years old. I've done 29 years of being a dickhead.
29 years of being a dickhead.
If
it ain't easy.
It ain't easy. You know how hard it is being a dickhead 100% of the time. No, I'm generally a pretty nice person. But what I'm saying is, we did so much character focused stuff in the beginning before I was invested in anybody's character that I struggled a lot in the beginning. Not to say I didn't like my character. I like my character just fine. I liked the world just fine. I liked what we were doing perfectly, averagely, just fine. But that's not to say that it wasn't good. That's just to say that it takes me so long to get into a character that I need like either menial bullshit tasks that don't mean anything, or I need a main plot hook really early. And then 5 to 10 sessions in, if we start getting into character stuff, I care more about everyone's character. Because as much as you want your character, hey everyone, you guys are already going to know each other and you're going to be meeting up in this tavern and you guys were old buddies and all this shit. It doesn't matter how you spin it.
That's almost like impossible to do, because you haven't had the time to get to know each other's characters, truly know them.
Yep. So when something happens, we're session 5, right? And someone's like, oh, I've had a hard life. My father just passed away. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like, okay, yeah, sure, your dad died. Whatever, dude. Like, I got stuff going on in my life. You think I give a fuck about you? I need that 10 sessions to be like, he's like, that's my dad just died. And I'm like, oh, dude, that really, okay. Surface level sympathy is not what I'm talking about. I can be like, oh, wow, that really sucks that your dad died, dude. I'm real sorry. But like, I'm not committed to the character and I'm not committed to their character in the way that I would be later in the campaign.
Sure.
And that's just me. That's just me in life, dude. That's not just like a D&D thing. Like, it takes so long for me to be like committed to anything.
That fucking sucks.
That fucking sucks, dude.
Gotta go.
Why don't you go cry about it?
Why don't you go cry about it, you little bitch? No. But like, I'm serious though. Like, when big story stuff like that happens too early in the campaign, like character story stuff, not overarching story. If 2 or 3 sessions in, you're like, and then Maligda, the god of death, comes in and he blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, dude, that's sick. Oh, story stuff, cool. But if it's like, if a character's dropping personal bombs on me and I've only known him for 2 weeks, I'm like, oh, wow, that sucks. That's the same thing. If I met someone tomorrow and then I've known them for 2 weeks and we've hung out like 2 times and they were just like, oh my God, this tragedy happened in my life, I wouldn't be able to cope with it. I'd be like,
sorry about that, dude. I'll talk to you when you're good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Now, if tomorrow Robert died and Joe was like, dude, my dad died, I would be devastated. I'd be devastated for him. I've known Robert my whole life. That's a different thing. I've known these people. I've known him. I've known his parents. I've known his family for a long time. I'm deeply committed to the friendship, right? Whereas in the first 5 sessions of a D&D campaign, which is an even thinner, more tenuous relationship than a real relationship, I wouldn't give a fuck about anything in the first year of knowing someone. It takes probably 6 more months to a year.
You have to be so vulnerable in the sense of I have to trust these people with my lives, and I don't know them.
Yeah,
I don't trust them.
You can kind of turn that back around though, especially if you've been in a fight to the death with them, right?
But it doesn't. There's no stakes. That's the difference between.
That's where like you have to have that like initial in the first like session where it's a big battle and maybe everyone gets pretty beat up. Not dies, but gets beat up, and everybody's like, okay, you guys saved me on this one, or you saved me on that. If you come in and it's like, this happens, goblins attack, and you just like kill everything in like 2 seconds. It's like,
especially
doing our adventure and job. See y'all.
Yeah, especially like sometimes this could be my fault, especially with my character sometimes, and you're like, oh, 10 goblins come attack. A DM says that, you or Michael, and I'm like, and basically I wipe out 5 of them on my own. I definitely easily could have taken out the other 5 with the help of my partner. Like me and Joe were like a team up before it started. Mm-hmm. Us together probably could have handled that first combat alone. Like the other people in the room, as far as I cared, they were body shields. Like they were just there to absorb damage for me. That's it. I didn't care about their lives. I don't care about their characters. I didn't care about anyone's character besides Joe's for the first 10 sessions. And the only reason I cared about Joe's is because 1, I already know Joe really well. And 2, we spent weeks coming up with the story and how our characters were going to interact and how our characters know each other. So I've already gone through the part where even though we weren't playing, I know why our characters are connected, and our characters are connected in a specific way, and that builds the story. But you don't know that with everyone else's character, and it takes so long to get invested for me that I just like character-driven stuff in the first 10 episodes is just like going in one ear, out the other.
That can be a downfall of the shorter campaign as well, though, right?
Absolutely.
You don't have time to make those bonds.
Absolutely, it could be. But you know what? You guys don't seem to suffer for that problem at all. So, and I'm DMing, so I don't have to care about your characters or the NPCs. It'll be perfect.
It'll be perfect.
It'll be perfect. You guys can like spill your guts to one of my NPCs, and like it's a hardened sci-fi world where shit goes wrong all the time, and I can just play it how I would play really knowing someone for a week. When you come in and you're like, my partner died for this mission, and I'm like, I fucking paid you, asshole. That was the job, and you knew it. And you know what? I can play that character exceptionally well. I know that character. I know that character in and out. So that's easy. That is the easiest kind of character for me to play. But it's also the character that no one likes to play with. I feel like anytime I have to get stern in a campaign where I have to be like, I have to try to shut something down. I want to shut it down for like, there's a million reasons why I might want to shut something down. But like, I'm getting to the point where I don't want to do that. Even though that is the thing I'm good at.
Sort of side note. I will say that for specifically long campaigns, one of the things I like the most about them is the ability to incorporate character backstories into the overall campaign. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, that's the way it should work. That's kind of that's what makes your characters special in the world.
Yeah, but it should happen.
Something ties them to the overall big.
I feel like those are things that should happen. Like I've been saying for the past 20 minutes, session like 10 to 15 onward, and you do like a couple of episodes or a couple of sessions where it focuses on someone's backstory. We plowed through everyone's backstory so fast.
I think everyone still has stuff in their backstory that they haven't touched yet. Yeah,
but like maybe other than Jace, like Jace's backstory seems like it could go anywhere.
He gave me a lot. He gave me a lot. Yeah.
But the flip side of that is I thought I gave you enough to like fill out a lot of sessions, and we busted through that shit.
There's still a lot going on that you don't know about.
But the thing I thought was going to take the longest took a day.
Well, that's
surprise. Know what we did? Guess what? We walked up that mountain, took care of that shit, walked back down the mountain. Everyone who doesn't think that's what happened can get fucked.
I don't understand.
I know, Trog.
I see you, Trog. You bastard. Trying to like nail me down with semantics. Like, where do you go? If you're at the base of the mountain, you want to go to the top? Where do you go? You go up. You're at the top and you want to go down? Where do you go? You go down. You're not going up anymore. You're going down.
Oh, you're talking about the in and out thing?
Yeah, dude. Everyone gives me crap about my simple explanations, but like,
it's because you can go down and be on the opposite side of the mountain.
I'm just giving you the pure. I'm boiling it down to its essence.
Okay.
In essence, what are you doing when you climb a mountain, Isaac? Regardless of direction, what are you doing?
Well, you're going up.
North, south, east, west. Which way are you going?
Well, going up is different, isn't it? Because the peak generally is a smaller point than the base.
Sure. But guess what?
So going down a mountain,
no,
end up in a completely different spot.
Nah. I want to talk about this now because it's up.
Oh, here we go.
North, south, east, west. You're at the peak of the mountain. You're at the top of Everest, baby. Which way you going?
Which way did I come up?
That's probably the way you're going to go, right? And which direction is that? Is that up or down? You're at the peak of the mountain. You can't go any higher. Which way are you going? You going up or down?
Oh, geez. Here we go. I'm going more up.
You can't. Physically impossible to go more up. Gotcha. Physically impossible to go more up. Which way you going? Which way you going, baby? Even if you jump to your death,
I'm going sideways. I'm just walking.
You know what you're doing? You're going down, baby. And it doesn't matter which direction you go off the mountain because this is fantasy land and I can just go to the bottom on the right side or the north side or the south side. Doesn't fucking matter. And I walk around. What are you talking about? Get out of here.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
Hit me up.
Mountain related.
I'm in a good rant mood.
Okay.
Give me something else to rant about.
So if you are writing a long form campaign,
hit me.
What is your idea of the best way to integrate characters that haven't met before?
I want right away. I'm not saying I've run a campaign taken multiple years to finish. I've never done that. But in my experience of playing in campaigns that I enjoyed a lot, characters are together. The reason they get together, don't fucking care. They met up in a bar, they ran into each other on the street. Doesn't matter. What matters is there is a big event, like a big event that takes everyone's effort to do, right? Michael's first campaign, the first campaign that not that we just finished, it's been a while now, but that really long one, when we started, you know why we were together? We were slaves. That's an easy one. We're together because we're forced to be together. All right. What's the big goal? What does everyone not want to be? A slave? They don't want to be slaves. Hey guys, you don't want to be a slave? You don't want to be a slave? Hey, you want to try to break out of this together? That'd be sick, right? I love freedom. Freedom's the best. America. So you get together and you're like, guys, here's the plan. We're gonna go up here. We're gonna kill this guard. We're gonna run out the front. Sick, awesome. Maybe some NPC is like, oh, hey, you guys planning on getting out? I'm planning on getting out. I got some buddies. I was able to get a message out to them. They're coming on this day to help us out, but it's going to be rough. All right, sick. We'll go tomorrow. We'll do that thing. This event that's happening, no matter how it turns out, is drawing the characters together to a central core, like a black hole's level of force, pulling everyone together towards a goal that everyone wants to achieve immediately. It doesn't matter what comes after that. What comes after that doesn't matter because you're already committed. You're like, bro, me and you, we escaped being slaves together. We're in this to win this. Like, we escaped.
We're getting off this island. We're going home.
Yeah, we escaped slavery and we weren't breaking up, dude, because this island was fucking scary and everything was scary and everything was trying to kill us. So the only way we survived was being together. And you know what? I was committed to those characters it was the fastest I've ever been committed to a character because there was something extremely crystal clear that we all were trying to achieve, and that was escaping. And at first it was escaping, and then it very slowly melded into, we're not just escaping, we're strong, we're saving people. We're saving this world. We've met people we care about. We want to save this place. And then that turned into, guess what? There is an overarching evil. And it's not just like saving your buddy that you met at the tavern who was a cool guy to you guys. And then that was awesome. But it's like, he is fighting something and he wants your help because you guys are strong. You guys are like in this story and everyone like is starting to learn who you are because you're in a small area and people know, right? Boom, there's your thing. The story naturally builds upon itself because the characters want to be together and they want to be driven towards a goal. When you have too many sessions of like character vignette, or like not a central point for everyone to just be sucked together, it is hard to stay compelled. I can stay compelled on thin air for a little while, but eventually that air runs out and I'm choking. You know what I'm saying? And that's rough. And that's a rough place to be. And that's a rough place to talk to people about. Hey guys, I really think that this should be happening, but it's not. And that's hard to bring up. That's like, it's personally hard for me to like give that kind of criticism.
So if there isn't, would you rather have all your campaigns start with all the characters in some sort of captivity?
No.
Not even just captivity.
Yeah,
it could be like everyone just happens to be at this new festival that's going on, and some crazy thing happens, and you have to fight to survive, and you happen to run into these people, and you go, "Okay, I'll back you up. You back me up to get out of this situation."
Because we're gonna die otherwise.
Our backs are against the wall, and then afterwards, it's kind of like I would think would tend to lead to
makes your characters
really
bond over.
Can I get you a drink or something?
Yeah, because it's not about being forced into like. Obviously, the slave thing was just one example. Mm-hmm. It's just about having something that all the characters can be together for. The pretext that you're adventurers who are going to risk your life, that doesn't really. That's a given. It's D&D. That's your job. Like your only thing is that you're a guy who is got some kind of powers or some kind of gift and you're trying to do something with them. And it doesn't even matter what you're doing. That's why I'm not so big on the backstory. The backstory can evolve naturally throughout the campaign. And I could slowly drip feed you a paragraph at a time over the course of 10 sessions. And you'd have a full backstory that evolved naturally with the campaign. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a perfect way to play it. But like, it doesn't matter how detailed a character is. It doesn't matter how detailed the world is. If there's no reason for the characters to be together, if there's no reason that the characters are bonded over a single goal, it can feel really, really, really hard to stick together as a group. Because at any moment, I mean, we're past that now, obviously, in that campaign. But there was quite a while where it was like, any of these characters could die and it wouldn't affect my character at all. Any of these characters could leave, it wouldn't affect my character at all. I wouldn't even try to stop them. I felt like sometimes I was just doing stuff to do it, not because I was compelled to do it, but because it's what I needed to do for the sake of the campaign. And that's been that way with a ton of campaigns. I've just never like put it into words this way.
I mean, I feel like like I've said this before, but I feel like there's a certain amount of metagaming that has to go on with any campaign. The way that we started mine, I had a combat encounter that is especially hard to balance a combat encounter for low-level characters that will get people close to death but not actually kill them. Because killing a character in the first campaign sucks hard.
This is why in the first DM episode we talked about this. And I talked about this and you guys seem to dismiss me like out of hand. That's not how I do it. Which is like, it doesn't matter. The balancing... You're thinking too much about balancing it in the beginning when all you need to think about is you need to have a list of everyone's AC and hit points, and you need to push them to the very edge. And if you got to give some of your monsters a little extra HP, the characters are never going to know that, right? They don't know what monsters they're fighting. They're made up. You like no one's. I mean, unless you got someone who's like, and what page on the DMG is this monster? What page in the monster manual is this monster? But fuck them guys, right? Like, you just totally wing the whole thing. Here's some monsters. Here's 5 ghosts. Okay, you know how you make this a perfect encounter? Here you go. Oh, I hit the ghost 5 times. Oh man, that ghost is looking rough. Oh, but the ghost behind him does a plasma transfusion with his action, and that guy gets a little bit of health back, and he's looking okay again. And you keep track of everyone's health to the T. And then, like, when it's starting to look dire, you let them push back. You let them push back. Like, right before it starts to get dire, they're pushing back against it, right? And then right when it's like, oh, shit, Jim Bob went down, and someone else is like, oh, dude, we're really struggling. That's when, like, they overcome. They get to the peak of that mountain, the peak of the fight, and then you let them win. You flat ass let them win. They roll. Oh, yeah. Whoa, what an incredible hit that was. You know what I mean? It doesn't fucking matter. All that stuff is just up in the air, my guy. And like, you get done with the fight, you were expecting to lose, you knew you were going to lose. That was the whole point of the fight. But the players, they don't know that. For all they know, that could have been just, oh shit, the DM didn't balance that right, or oh shit, the DM didn't do this. But it's just totally winged. Just don't show them your rolls. Oh man, I'm not hitting anything, so this encounter's too easy. Bullshit, you're not hitting anything. They don't see your rolls. Guess what? You're fucking hitting them, and they don't know, and that's totally fine. And like, I don't understand why no one else like agrees with me on this. A compelling fight is about like, how stressful is this fight? How fun is this fight? And it's like, you know how it is entertaining to watch the DM roll 3 ones in a row. Ha ha, you fucking idiot. Can't roll a dice. I'm owning your ass. You know what I mean? But all you got to do is hide that. Give him the one every now and then, but also be like, ah, shit, I crit you, dog. Or flip side of this, you know how much it fucking sucks when the DM rolls 5 20s in a row and nobody on your team can hit anything? That sucks. That feels depressing. It's not stressful. It's just bad. There's no tension. The tension is how close are you? How much does it feel like you could lose this fight in relation to how much you're doing? So just like if you're rolling invisibly and they can't see and you're nailing the hell out of them every single time, just every now and then be like, ah, shit, he missed you guys. Fuck. You know what I mean? They don't know that. They don't ever have to know that. And it can totally feel natural the whole time. You know how I know I can feel natural the whole time? I've done it. I've done it a million times. And typically in the fights that I've had, granted, I've only DM'd like decently newer players, some more advanced players, but nobody questions it. Nobody questions it in the moment. No one questions it post game. I never revealed it to any of them. And it was totally fine. And it made the fights feel tense. It made the fights feel good. And that made everything else just click. It didn't matter how shit my story was if every fight's intense and is intense and fun. If every interaction is tense as it can possibly be. And I think I've come to this conclusion even more so recently by playing my favorite current video game, Hunt Showdown. You want to know why Hunt Showdown to me is such a compelling game? Because fights are tense. They are like heart-pounding adrenaline rushes of fights. At any moment, I could die. At any moment, somebody could get a lucky shot and I'm fucking done for. So it's not just about one aspect, rolling the dice or being good at aiming. In Hunt Showdown, or in D&D, it could be about positioning. It could be about using the environment to your advantage. It could be about anything. And anything at any moment can flip the fight either way. That's what makes it feel tense. That's what makes it feel good. And that's why some fights don't feel good. They just don't feel good. Some fights, no matter how much you want them to feel good, they don't. And that's a hard thing to overcome. But the way you overcome it is what I just described. And let the players have awesome moments. And the DM can have awesome moments too, but you got to let players have things sometimes. If a player does something really interesting and really cool, you just got to let them have it, even if it fucks your whole fight. And that's hard sometimes. That's hard, especially if you're trying to like get a certain point across. I remember one time in when I was running, player did this really awesome thing, and I totally let him have it. I regretted it a session later, because I had to rectify that I gave them more information than they maybe otherwise would have gotten because of this amazing thing that the player came up with to do. But it ended up being fine. They don't know that they skipped 4 hours of a pre-written campaign because I gave them information that they shouldn't have gotten for another 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever. You know what I mean? Didn't matter. They went through it and it was totally fine.
Sure. I don't have any problem with that. I don't like constantly fudging dice rolls.
Not constantly. You don't have to do it constantly. You only have to do it in a situation where you're either railing them so hard that they can't recover, or you're just never hitting. Because a fight that's super one-sided is only fun one time. It is a blast every now and then. I think it's
fun sprinkled in there.
Yeah, it's fun every now and then to have a fight that you just roll over. You're like, "What's up, chumps? I'm the best ever. I ripped all their heads off and I'm awesome." But if that happens too often, fights get boring.
It makes it feel like, I don't know, the stakes aren't the same if I know you're fudging or not fudging.
Okay, this is everyone's response. This was the response last time we did this, and that's fucking horseshit. Because you don't know if I'm fudging an asshole. That's the thing.
Well,
nobody knows.
Because you told me you do. I
mean, fair enough, but I could have very easily just never told you. So
in my head, every time I play, I'm like, you fudging?
I think that like, I think that honestly, you're thinking about it right now, but in the heat of the moment, you wouldn't think about it as much.
It was the heat of the moment. I like showing the rolls. Not only because it's it lets everyone know that everything is on the table, but also seeing the pluses and stuff, it lets you strategize against how difficult you think something is going to be. Especially I wouldn't recommend that for newer players because they won't know what's going on. But for veterans, when you see someone roll and it's like, oh, plus 14, shit.
But okay. That's a level of metagaming that doesn't have to happen, because truthfully, the characters wouldn't know anyways. This isn't just me.
I can disagree with that because just because I'm not great at describing the deftness with which my
so you just tell
villain is attacking you. Yeah, but I can be like, he's real good, or I can be like a plus 14, and you guys know exactly how good that is.
But there's a middle ground between those two extremes.
If you are seasoned adventurers, you could theoretically know what to look for in how good someone is fighting.
Sure. But getting hit a lot is also a cue that they're not having a lot of trouble hitting you. That's the subtle clue that a veteran player should get. And this thing that I'm pitching isn't like just a me thing. It is fundamental to D&D. Why do you think DM screens were created?
They were created. I understand
for this reason.
Mm-hmm.
And like a new player, you might need to be like, "Whoa, plus 10! They're really gonna beat you guys up." You need to be that direct. But the veteran player should know, "Oh shit, I have a 20 AC, and this guy's hit me 4 times in a row. He's not just lucky; he's good."
Yeah. And this is, I mean, honestly, it's a thing that I've gone back and forth on quite a few times, whether or not to just hide all rolls or show all rolls. And I decided that showing all rolls makes it to where if there's an extreme roll, like a 1 or a 20, it makes it, I think, more exciting when everyone can see it.
I think that
I like it for specific rolls.
Yeah.
Like big time rolls by like an NPC to like maybe like tell if we're lying about something, so we can all, it's like, oh
yeah,
or something.
Skill checks, sometimes you can show those and be okay. But I think that you can obfuscate a ton of the rolls and it is totally 100% fine, and you can keep the tension up in a more compelling way sometimes just by fudging rolls. And I feel like you guys think that I'm like talking like fudge every roll all the time, but like you don't have to do that. It's just like fudge enough to balance the fight. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, fair, but I mean, that
transparency is not always good in storytelling.
True, but that also feels like way more railroaded. If I keep all the dice hidden and I can directly influence the outcome of anything that I do.
But it's like it's the concept of like a ghost railroad, right? It is a railroad. You guys are on it, but nobody sees it. And the only reason you think you can see it right now is because we're just talking about it. In reality, a lot of the times we're probably on railroads in any given campaign at any given moment, and we just don't know. And it feels like we're making decisions that are changing the outcome, but the outcome is predetermined. I mean, what is free will anyways? Let's get philosophical. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. But like, truthfully, it's a world where anything could happen at any time. Magic exists. I could have you guys on the tracks start to finish. As long as I let you guys feel, as long as the players feel like the decisions they are making are changing the outcomes. That's all that matters. The cogs that are spinning behind the scenes, doesn't matter how those cogs work. You know what I mean? It could just be a blob. It should be a blob back there and things flow naturally through it at all times. It wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't matter if it was a computer chip running a program. As long as it feels like you're making decisions that matter. It's the branching narrative thing, you know. Like it feels like it matters, and the players don't know. Flat ass. I don't know what you're going to do in the next session. Generally speaking, I mean, I know that we're going to be doing X thing over like huge picture in every campaign, you know that, but I don't know the exact workings. I don't know what these NPCs are thinking. I don't know what the DM is thinking. I don't know what their dice are doing. Even when I see their dice, it's a random outcome. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Even players that are paying attention to the nth degree can't know everything because they're not omniscient, omnipotent. So like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter nearly as much as we make it out to matter when we're talking about it in the abstract.
That's fair. Maybe they'll go back to hiding roles, because I did hide roles in the first campaign, and then
I think it's great.
Second one I started doing it out just on the board. Maybe they'll go back.
There's certain, like, I don't really care, like, if you're gonna hit me, I like seeing the natural 20 being like, oh, I just got crit, that's fun. But like, if someone's trying to like decipher me, incite me, or something, I don't need to know. You know what I mean?
I don't need to see that roll.
Yeah, generally the like the perceptions and stuff I won't do, because that is something I don't think that you could tell as an adventurer, like how insightful someone is just by looking at them.
Yeah. It's the same thing, but like it's the same thing with combat. You don't really know. You don't really know until someone's thrown a couple of attacks. Knowing that someone has a plus 14 right out the gate, it doesn't matter how experienced you are, you're not going to know that. The only thing you can see when you're fighting someone and you're looking at them face to face, the only thing you know is what you can see about their body. Damn, this guy's ripped. He's probably pretty strong. But is he a good fighter? I'm not going to know until we start.
That's fair.
From experience.
Maybe I'll go back to concealed roles.
Yeah.
I still have a D20 on my desk that I occasionally do use for things like.
And that's great. Oh yeah, I love that. And plus you get to roll a real dice, and that's way better than virtual.
What sucks about rolling a real dice is arithmetic, which there are certain numbers and I'm like, it takes me a few seconds.
I'm terrible at it, but it doesn't even matter.
I do this. I'm like,
off camera, I'm going
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That many damage, and then I go.
I'm bad at that.
I'm eights and 6s for me. I have to do those slower than like all the other numbers.
I'm a language guy, not a math guy. I'm a talk about stuff guy, not a doing hard math kind of guy. Rolling a physical dice is great, especially like I have these metal ones. They're crisp to roll.
Yeah, the metal ones are
chunk. And it's like, oh, that felt like a good roll, baby. You find out what dice you like when you play a lot of in-person D&D. But anyways, we're over.
There you go.
Quite a bit.
There's your advantages and disadvantages of different length time.
No, I think the name of this episode is going to be Ranty McRanterson, Enter the Rant.
That's like 90% of these.
No, I usually don't rant.
Love to rant. It's your favorite.
I ranted a lot in this episode.
Just own up to it, Eric.
I am owning up to it. I love ranting. I love getting on a roll where I'm like, I'm explaining this amazingly. 10 out of 10 explanation right here. I can see it in your face. I'm convincing you of things. I love that. That's my favorite.
That's what you see in my face.
When I'm explaining stuff and I
know what's going on in my brain.
Yeah. When I explain,
he's ranting again.
When I'm explaining stuff and I feel like people are understanding what I'm saying very clearly, I like that a lot.
I do clearly understand what you're saying.
It gives you the brain juice.
That gives me the brain juice.
One brain juice, please.
that gives me the good brain juice when I'm like, I know what I'm talking about and I know how I want to say it. Or while I'm saying it, I am forming what I want to say. I'm like, my brain is like, and this is the next thing, and this is the next. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, the brain juice is flowing, baby. And I'm just like nailing this.
Hit the brain nitrous.
Hit the brain nitrous. Every now and then there's just like a perfect moment. A perfect moment of explanation. I love explaining things. It's great. That's why my new character is just that, because I can play that character.
It's a real stretch. It's really stretching your acting chops there.
Listen, dude, just play to your strengths. Play to your strengths.
Sure.
I'm playing to my strengths. And you know what I'm good at? Explaining things in great detail.
Great detail.
All right. Well, there you go. There you have it. Ranty McRanterson goes on a rant.
That was a particularly ranty episode. I don't feel like we covered those topics very well at all, but it was good.
We touched on them enough, I think.
I feel like I'm going to look at the waveform and I'm going to know
35, 40 minutes of talking about that, and then we had a fun rant.
It ramped up to the rant.
It was a rant ramp.
It was a rant,
and then it was like a super rant, and then it became like an omega rant.
Yeah. I was powering up. I went super rant.
Over 9,000 rant.
And then I went super rant too. And then I was like, shit, dude, Kaioken on this rant.
You were ranting for like 15 episodes.
It was great. I enjoyed every minute of it, whether you guys did or not.
I did enjoy it. I did.
It seemed like everyone was enjoying it, and that's all that matters to me. Anyways, thanks for listening to this extra long episode, which I did not cut 10 minutes early because I was on a roll, baby.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, we should have just cut it early, right before your rant. That way you could have.
Yeah, you know what? We could have. We totally could have. No, I have a hard cutoff for these. It has to at least be an hour. So anything over is fine, but it has to at least be an hour. You can't end a podcast that is consistently an hour at 45 minutes. That just pisses everyone off.
Oh, okay. What are we doing next time?
I want to cover, we will talk about it. Let's just talk about it. Well, real quick, I want to cover a Kickstarter campaign that I backed. The version 1 of the book is out. Version 2 of the book is coming soon. But as far as I can tell, based on all the communication on their Discord server and everything, the only thing that version 2 changes is like grammatical mistakes and art. And that's it. Everything else, there is a new subclass for every class in the game. All witch themed cauldrons and witch themes. And that's something I've always wanted to explore and I've always been really interested in because I feel like that's a really underserved type of magic in D&D.
Next time.
You got 2 weeks to read up on it.
I read about half of it already.
Or don't read any of it at all. That's fine too. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.